Hello friends, I hope everybody's doing well. Okay, so in exchange for fixing my friend's Craftsman snow thrower, he's given me these three snow throwers here. All three are Toros and they all need some kind of work done to them. We're going to begin today by seeing if we can get them running, and we'll check out and see what they need to get them running, because these blowers here are going to be for resale. So I'm going to get started. We'll do a walk around and I'll show you what obviously is wrong with each one of them, and let's get going. Okay, so to begin with, two of these are 2-strokes and this one is just unleaded gas. It's a 4-cycle, and the way you can tell is it's marked right on the cap here. This one just takes unleaded. I'll give you a better close-up later. This one's 50-1, so you have to mix the gas. I'm wondering if these caps are interchangeable, because that could be a problem. And I'm not seeing anywhere where it's marked 4-cycle or 2-cycle, but we'll look into that also. That's what I mentioned when I was doing my friend's Craftsman 4-cycle. His was marked right on the sticker that it was a 4-cycle. All three are electric starts. To begin with, this one here has a broke off pull cord. This here, sorry about that. This one here, the PTO is not working. These work like when you pull a lever back, it lifts up the whole front of the blower. I guess that puts the tension on the belt. And we'll get to that part when I get to it. We'll figure that out. This one seems to be working okay. I think we'll start off with this one. Might be the easiest one to get running, plus the pull cord is fine on this one. And what I'll do is I'll get set up. I'm going to try to start it with the electric starter and make sure the electric starts work, and they're most likely have dead gas in them, if they have any gas in them at all. So okay, let me get set up for that. We'll try to start the first one up. So far, out of all three, the electric starters don't work. I use 2 different extension cords. What you do is you use your 110 extension cord, out of your 110 outlet. And out of all three, I even tried 2 different extension cords. I mean, I know the one extension cord's good because I always use it for my battery charger, but we'll dig into that later. Anyway, right here it's marked about using 50-1 mix in this. Now the one that's unleaded is missing this cover. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this cover off and we're going to prime it and see if we can get this thing to do anything. So it's just 2 screws here that hold the cover on. I'm using a 5/16 socket. So I'll pull this cover off and I'll give it a little prime and see if we can get this thing to start up. Most likely going to need a carburetor cleaning right off the bat, I would say. I'd love to dig into it a little further and see what's going on with the electric start. I don't know if there's some kind of reset or something that has to be hit, or it's got a bad connection somewhere. I don't know. So this cover just more or less pulls right off. It has like a couple of clips in here that clip on there, and you just push it down and put the 2 screws in. Okay, so I've primed the carburetor with a little 2-stroke. We'll see if we can get this thing to do anything. great if the electric starter worked. I'm gonna pull the spark plug out and see if what the spark plug looks like. Okay, so I just took this cover off, which is held by the two screws that hold the carburetor on, and I'm gonna try to spray some brake clean maybe in here and see if it'll try to start then. And we'll do that with the choke off. I don't know if my 2-stroke mix here is any good anymore. I think it is. I don't know. Oh, we'll just try it with some brake clean. See if we can find it with that. I just want to hear it run a little bit before we move on with it. Sorry about that. I'm inside looking for brake clean and it's already out here. To get to the spark plug on this, I think you gotta take half of the machine apart. Or maybe if you just take this cover off, you can work in there. I'm not really sure. These are all different all the time. Oh, it sounded like I wanted to do something. I don't know if I flooded it before. Definitely sounds like it wants to do something. Alright, I'm going to take this cover off here. It's got a couple of 5/16 screws and whatnot in here. And see if we can gain access to the spark plug. Maybe I flooded it, pouring the 2-stroke in there. Okay, so far there was a couple of screws holding this on here, and somebody stuck a screw in here also because everything's like stripped out, I guess, or whatever. So we got this much out of it now. So what I'm gonna have to do now is, I'm sorry about the noise in the background, but I'm sure you guys are all used to that already. This has a screw and a nut. This has a bolt and a nut. So we're gonna have to remove this screw that somebody put in. He probably put it in because these things probably rattled apart on them. Also, I'm gonna have to take off the chute, which has, I think it's 3 carriage bolts and nuts. There's 3 of them, one here, and then there's one on the other side. So when I get to the point of taking this apart, I'll come back to you and I'll pull the spark plug out and see what that looks like. Unfortunately, it still has the same gas in it, so that's not a good sign right there. So we'll definitely have to drain the gas out and probably have to clean out the carburetor if possible. I don't want to get too involved in this really. I want to see if it runs because we'll have to see what the shape of the carburetor is also. Okay, so in order to get this red cover off here, I had extra nuts and bolts in there that were rusted in there real good. It took me a little while to get it apart. And then what I had to do is I had to take off the chute to get the cover off. And now we've gotten to the spark plug here. So I'm going to pull the spark plug out now and see what that looks like. Okay, so I'll pull the spark plug out now. All we want to do is hear this thing do something so we can continue on with it, you know? Spark plug was pretty loose. Yeah, it's wet. Let me see if I have another spark plug we could just throw in there to try it. It's just CJ8Y. Oh, I'm sure I have some plugs that are a lot better than this. So let me go ahead and take a look. In the meantime, I'm gonna just I'm just gonna pull it a little bit, just in case it got flooded before. wonder if I should cut off the fuel supply going into the carburetor. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll be right back to you. This way we'll just try it, you know, by priming it. Because I don't want any more of that gas getting into the carburetor. So let me go ahead and disconnect the fuel line to the carburetor, and I'll block that off. Or maybe I'll just drain the gas tank while I'm at it, and I'll be right back to you. So there's gas in the tank, but nothing's coming out. You know, when I had it on its wheels, of course, nothing may come out now because I have it tilted. So I'm just going to blow a little air through here. It's got an inline fuel filter too. I don't know if that could be clogged too. But let me tilt it back down. Let me move the camera here, and I'll tilt it back down and see if we get anything coming out of the... I have the gas cap off too, by the way. Yeah, let's see if we get anything out of this. And try to drain some of this old stuff out. These are a real awkward pain in the ass to work on, I'll tell you that right now. I guess I'll put my finger over that for now. I don't know, nothing's coming out of here. Maybe I'll pop the gas tank off and see what's going on. Maybe there's not enough gas in there to... Yeah, no, the outlet's all the way at the bottom of the tank. There should be no reason why gas isn't coming out. All right, I'm gonna undo the hose here, and I'll be right back to you. Were you looking at the stars? I'll be right back to you. This is most of what came, no, not, it's some of what came out of the gas tank, but I did pour some regular gas in there to flush out the tank. But we're not going to worry about that right now. I found a spark plug. We're going to stick the spark plug in there. I'll give it a little prime and see if we can get it to do something. This used plug that I have here is in a lot better shape than the plug we took out. So I think I'm going to just squirt a little bit of... You know what I'm doing? Spray some brake clean in there. But since the engine's not hot, it won't evaporate right away. Let's see if we can get this thing to do something. I just want to hear a little bit of something out of this so we can go on and clean out the carburetor. Okay, let me tighten up the spark plug, put the wire back on, and see if it'll do something. There. Okay, clipped it on. Let's see if we can get a little something out of it now. That's about enough for me to hear. It ran that long with no fuel line hooked up. But it looks like somebody added you know, when they made the mix, they put a lot of oil in it, into the mix. But I don't know, should we see if I add some two-stroke, will it start and run good? I think most of the problem was the fuel. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I'll be right back to you. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, I hooked up the fuel line. I put some fresh fuel in. I'm going to choke it, give it a few primes. Let's see if we can get this thing to run. The ignition switch is messed up there. I don't know if it's the contact. I just wiggled it around and it stalled. I don't know, I'm going to throw a couple of shots of seafoam in it. I'm going to make sure that the carburetor is not leaking. The carburetor may still have to come apart and be cleaned out. All that smoke that you saw, somebody really loaded this up with the wrong mixture. And it was probably all in the muffler, in the exhaust system. So that's why you saw so much smoke and everything. And God knows when the last thing this thing ran. My buddy Joe was just here, so I spoke to him about these. He never used them. He picked them up somewhere. I guess he bought the lot of 3 of them, and he never got to use them. He said he put gas in one of them to see if it will fire up, and it never fired up. So I think we may continue on this one. I still have to get hardware so I can put it back together, because I can still put it back together and still be able to take the carburetor off if need be. So this video was supposed to be to try to start all 3 up and see what they need, but we ended up working on this one. This is just how I am, and this one seems to be the best. And then when I pulled the handle for the PTO, that worked great. It worked fine. I do want to take the inspection cover off and take a quick look at the belt and everything and make sure the belt's okay. And I guess that's going to be it on this video, and maybe it'll be a part 2 on this one. I don't know yet. We'll see. But there's definitely going to be a part 2 on the other 2. See if we can get them running. If I could just make one good one and sell it and get my money, and that'd be good for me. I'll be happy with that. But I'm satisfied with the way this starts up now and runs. So I'm going to put a couple of shots of seafoam in it, let it run for a while, and put all this stuff away and make a list of the hardware I need to put this thing back together. Like I said, everything was rusted. It had the wrong screws in it, everything else. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one, and stay safe.